Yo, dudes, what up? Robby Rowe. Today I want to talk about a subject that I really haven't done a whole lot of context on, but the influence that the arm action has on trunk rotation mechanics. So if you're coming from the ebook, you already have a pretty good understanding up until this point in the chapter of what we want to see within the trunk rotation mechanics. But before I dive into like more concepts on trunk rotation mechanics and how trunk flexion can help aid in arm deceleration and trunk counter rotation can help aid in increasing rotational energy, we need to make sure that we specify that the arm action, right? Not necessarily the arm action, but the release slot of one's arm action is going to determine a lot of different components to trunk rotation mechanics. Meaning, if you're a high to low 3/4 guy, so right around this window here, there's going to be a couple things that you're going to do differently from the trunk rotation mechanics standpoint than a guy that's going to be a over the top guy, downhill guy, right? 3/4 guys, think like Luis Castillo. Those are the guys that you're probably going to see with, again, all pertaining to trunk rotation mechanics. You're probably going to see a pretty good excess amount of trunk counter rotation descending from leg lift, okay? You're going to see that because that's a potential mechanism to then help those guys increase their amount of rotational energy, buildup of rotational energy. And then because now when they release that rotational energy, it's going in line in that slot, plane of shoulder rotation. Why you probably don't see a lot of aggressive counter rotation for over the top guys, think like spin direction of 1220 to 1245, 1250, okay? The reason why you don't see a whole lot of trunk counter rotation is because then those are probably going to lead into some mechanical movement compensations for guys where they have to pull out because they then have to contralateral trunk tilt. Over the top guys are already going to have to contralateral trunk tilt to make way for their arm to get into their release slot. But if you add in a movement of pretty aggressive like trunk counter rotation, then that's just going to tell the brain, like, dude, we got to go. We got to spin, right? Now, I'm not saying this is all, like, negative. I'm not trying to demonize any particular movement. Like, what works, right? But you typically see over-the-top guys pertaining to trunk rotation mechanics do, instead of counter rotation, okay, with their trunk, they'll do just a trunk tilt. So you can kind of get the picture of over-the-top is going to be utilizing a little bit more directional energy and releasing their rotational energy more in line, whereas 3/4, lower, sidearm, whatever, they're going to be using a little bit more rotational energy because then they can mask that like spin-off effect that looks like, oh, he's just pulling off, but he's just got so much release of rotational energy that it might look like that. There's a lot of influence to what the trunk is going to do and what it's going to look like, in my opinion, depending on the individual's release slot. Now, you can also talk about over-the-top guys. Up here, I'm up here as well, utilizing their trunk flexion, right? So if this is extension, this is flexion, using trunk flexion to then help aid in their deceleration pattern of their arm, giving them more time, and even probably the acceleration pattern of their arm. Because you got to think, right? Trunk neutral, anchor down, create segmentation, launch from stretch, and now as you rotate the trunk and it pulls the arm through, you can then get max rotation, right? So then you're even here, and now as the arm comes through, you can then start to flexion, go into flexion, and then that all of that time that you're buying for your arm is just added acceleration because now you have more time to decelerate. Same thing can go for counter rotation as well, because those guys are going to come this way, release, and now you have all of this time to do that movement as well, buying time. So how can the trunk rotation mechanics influence higher amounts of arm speed through the ability to create more space to decelerate the arm? Because, again, ebook guys, we talked about in arm deceleration in the arm action mechanics chapter, that the arm can only accelerate as fast as it can decelerate. And looking at the trunk rotation mechanics of things can give us a more of a window for that. All right. With that being said, this video is brought to you by Dream Glove Company. That's this glove you're seeing here. They are hooking up my audience with a discount code and free shipping. So use code Robby at checkout, get 20% off and free shipping. You can custom make your glove. Great leather. Look at this baby. I mean, this is a personal fave. Got the username there. Your boy there. I don't know, what do you guys got on that color scheme? Different, right? Probably never be able to use this in a game. Oh well, looks sick. Live AB's glove. You're welcome. Curveball. See you guys.